So when we talk about taking our run blocks, right, when we talk about kind of setting that foundation, we come back to the process, okay? And when we talk about the process, it comes back to three major components. Number one is the strike, right? And the strike defined in our meeting room at the University of Akron, right, is your hips, your hands, and your eyes with your feet following, okay? When we talk about rolling out of our hips, when we talk about striking with our hands, right, with our thumbs up, okay, and our pecs being flexed, all right, and our eyes being able to burn through our key, we understand that our feet are going to follow exactly where those three things are pointed towards, all right? If I'm in a three technique, right, my key is gonna be the tip of the pad, right, of that offensive guard, okay? So I'm gonna explode out of my hips, all right? I'm gonna strike with my hands, but I'm always gonna be grilling my key with my eyes, and my feet will always tend to follow that action, all right? So that's part one. The second part of it all is the tear, okay? That's when we want to manually and violently move the offensive lineman down and away from our body, all right? So we're able to see down, around, and through our gap. And our guys say that all the time in the room, down, around, and through, down, around, and through. That's because we don't just want to be able to look into our gap. We want to be able to see through our gap. We want to be able to see things moving in the backfield through our gap, but we want to be able to make plays in our gap as well, which brings me to my next point, all right, the clear. And that's the step for separation into your gap with either a club rip, right, or an arm over, right, to be able to kind of finish that whole deal. So again, the three parts of the process: you got your strike, you got your tear, and you got your clear. And we can kind of talk about the next portion of it all, which is kind of the off-season progression and building your foundation to go into these things. Like I said, I'm extremely animated. Every picture you'll see will be from a movie, right, highlighting process, okay? All right, so this first drill we got right here is called stab and grab, okay? And I'm gonna go ahead to it, all right? So what you'll see right here is the guys with our backs to us will be the defensive linemen, all right? And they're gonna have a three-part progression in this whole deal, all right? The first thing is gonna be them striking their visual key, right? Offensive linemen are gonna be on the other side of us, facing us right here as we see it from our camera view, okay? And they're gonna be grabbing the wrist, holding their arms apart from each other in type of a V type of formation right here, okay? So the first thing that we want to focus on our guys having, right, is the eyes, because if we don't see our key, we don't know where we're going. So that's our simulation of a visual key, okay? We always want to bring our hand straight from the ground to the man. We don't want to cock back. We don't want to come out here. We want to come in straight from the ground to the man. One that eliminates the greatest enemy of defensive linemen, which is time. Okay, if there's any time or lapse, you're helping an offensive lineman, right? And you're losing as a defensive lineman, okay? We want to be able to eliminate time, okay? So as we strike right there, right, we're reestablishing the line of scrimmage. So that's the first portion of it. The second portion of it is what you see right here, which is the tear, okay? What we're talking about right here, okay? We're moving that offensive lineman down and away from our body, and we're seeing down, around, and through that gap. All right, so another simulation of our process, right? And then the last thing right here is our clear. Okay, as you can see right here, we've got guys going under, we've got guys going arm over, all right, but they're stepping violently into their gap so they're able to make a play. Okay, that's kind of the first off-season drill that we went to, again, named stab and grab, to be able to let guys understand the strike, the tear, and the clear from a visual and physical perspective. All right. The next thing we got right here is a 6-point explosion versus a med ball. And you might be thinking, well, why a med ball? When you line up against an offensive lineman, you have a choice, right? You can either strike that offensive lineman or allow the offensive lineman to strike you. When you line up and you throw a 12 to 15-pound med ball at somebody else's face, it's either going to hit their face or they can come out and strike it. The ball is either going to hit you in the face or you're going to strike the ball. This triggers nothing else but a fight or flight reaction, right? So it puts our defensive linemen in a mindset of, not only do I have to activate my hips, hands, and eyes, right, while I'm kind of utilizing this drill, but also it puts me in the mindset of when I put my hand in the dirt on Saturdays, okay, I have to be able to fight versus flight. We always want to take the fight to the offensive lineman. We never want to be the nail, okay? Never want to, all right? So in this drill, you'll kind of be spread apart from your partner about 3 to 4 yards, all right? You're gonna throw the ball literally directly at the face of the defender, okay? And as you throw the ball at the face of the defender, their job is to come out of their hips, strike with pecs, right? Which again means thumbs up, right? Our pecs flexing, okay? And they have to be able to see the visual key with their eyes, all right? When you do it perfect, okay, the ball goes directly at the person who threw it. But if there's any lapses, like we see right here, if there's any lapses in your technique, the ball will hit you in the face. I think it's perfect that we kind of see our example of a lapse right here. And we also see an example of a really good rep right here with my man Ryan, okay? He comes straight out. We've got palms up, all right? We've got pecs, okay? We've got thumbs up at 12 o'clock, all right? We're eyeing our key, coming straight through. We have violent hips. We're rolling onto our stomach, and the ball comes exactly back to the guy throwing it, all right? So again, this is how you want it to look. You want the ball to come directly back at the person throwing it versus the ball hitting you in the face. And that's a direct correlation into Saturdays, okay? Again, another really good example of a guy who's coming out of his hips, grilling through this medicine ball with his eyes, right, and is striking it with his hands, okay? This is a really, really good job, all right? This is exactly how we want this thing to look. Okay, so next we get into reestablishing the line of scrimmage, right, from an attack and react kind of perspective, okay? So when we inherited this team, we got an odd front team. All of the defensive linemen wanted to step laterally all the time, right? Which is okay, but since schemes are being changed and different things like that, now we have to be able to attack and we have to be able to move vertically. So we have this classic Superman drill, right, that a lot of defensive line coaches have talked and harped on in the past, okay? But this is highlighting the same exact thing. We'll get them in an athletic position. We'll get them in an attack and react stance. We'll have their key actually now be their teammate directly across from them on the mat, okay? And we're gonna have them explode out of their hips, okay? Grill their teammate with their eyes, okay? And be able to strike, boom, with our pecs, right? And our thumbs up at 12 o'clock, okay? As we come out onto this mat, which the guys did a great job of all winter. All right, and this kind of transitions me into different techniques, right, for being able to set edges and constricting gaps. Okay, so this is the last thing that we did, and we kind of started getting into it a little bit as spring ball went on, okay, but this is called power scoop. When you're in a 5-tech, when you're in a 3-tech, even when you're in a 2-eye, right, from inside out, you want to be able to constrict gaps and help linebackers make plays in phone booths, right, rather than highways. Okay, so what we have right here is we have this drill called power scoop, in which guys' thumbs will be up directly to the offender's middle of his chest. Okay, we're going to be down in an athletic position. We're going to be pushing to move from our instep, okay? And we're going to be looking to constrict the gap, all right? The last part of this drill is a drop step. And I always tell guys, you want to be able to drop step and act like you're playing basketball, okay? All right, the last part of this drill is a drop step. And this happens because when the ball declares, that's when we want to add on and be an extra defender in the fight. We don't want to get out of our gap before the ball declares right here. We want to constrict it, right? Help linebackers make plays, okay? And then be able to drop step, boom, and be able to help guys out by adding an extra number in. And our guys did a heck of a job of that as well. Here we go. Thought it was extremely important that we kind of saw this right from a film perspective. So here we go. We got our 2-eye right here, and it doesn't look perfect, but he has the mentality that right now I'm in a predicament where I need to be able to power scoop because I'm in my gap and I have integrity to be able to help my guys right behind me on the second level. Okay, and he doesn't get a super big amount of movement right here, right? But he ends up choking this dude out just enough to be able to help constrict the gap from inside out, okay? And this is exactly what we want. We can see this step, right, starting to move towards the drop step, but luckily our linebacker comes and he helps us make this play. I think this is a heck of a job right here. Choking this guy out, right? We're constricting gaps. We're gonna power scoop and we're gonna go ahead and finish this play. So this is a heck of a job. So those are things that we kind of use from a foundational standpoint. Okay, all right. So next, what we want to talk about is the 3-point explosion because now we're putting everything together. All right, we're coming off the ball, we're striking, right? We're tearing and we're clearing. And what I love to do, right, is to really be able to set an example of what we want to be able to do against people and put it on a sled. If you can go out and you can set the tone on the sled, I tell the guys all the time, break the sled, we'll buy another one. Break the sled, break the sled, break the sled. It'll be able to get in their mind the amount of aggression and tenacity that it takes to be able to reestablish the line of scrimmage. So the first thing we got right here is a strike. And you can see that what we want to do is we don't only want to knock offensive linemen back. We want to choke their tails out right into the backfield because they don't deserve to cross the plane against us, right? That's our job playing defensive line. So right here, we have reestablishment of the line of scrimmage. It's firm, it's dense, it's exactly what we want. We have pecs, right? We have our thumbs up, right? And we're grilling our eyes through our key. The next thing we have right here is our tear, right? Offensive lineman down and away. We're peeking and seeing down, around, and through our gap. Okay, and the last thing we have right here is the clear. Heck of a finish right here with the arm over on both sides. Okay, I think this is a really good job and depiction of what it takes to be able to come off the ball right out of a 3-point or a 2-point stance. Okay, being able to strike, being able to tear, and then being able to clear to a finish. This was an awesome job by our guys right here. We can see again from our 2-eye right here that the drills, right, turn into group, right, and turn into team. Everything translates, okay? All right, so we have the same thing going on right here. Not perfect with our footwork. Don't love that right here, but we have strike, right? We have tear where we're seeing down, around, and through our gaps, right? And then we have a late clear with a rip so we can go ahead and finish and make a TFL. We're not satisfied making plays at the line of scrimmage. We want to make plays with reestablishment of the line of scrimmage, okay, in the backfield, right, to be able to set guys off schedule. That's the goal of playing defensive line. This is a heck of a job right here. Again, we've got our strike, boom, we're reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving them backwards, okay? We've got our tear, I'm seeing down, around, and through my gap, and then we have our clear to a tackle, which is a great job.